my Palooza party peeps. Sorry about that. My phone was full, the storage was full, and the video just cuts off. It says like, you're out. So this is part B of layout 1. We were just finishing up the pulling off the foam tape, and I'm sorry, I didn't want to leave this overnight sitting open and sticky. So I went ahead and stuck the paper down, and this is the back side of it. I just wanted you to show that it's pretty even, so it's not hard to stick down at all, and they did work. I didn't have any trouble with the sequins popping out and all that stuff, and it really is a fun layout. Now, I learned something else last night. After this sat out all night, several of these little layout, the half moon circle folds popped back up. So I want you to go ahead when you're doing yours to go ahead and touch up with a little bit of liquid glass. And honestly, I had to actually check to make sure it was on there. I used so little. If that makes sense, like you do not need a big glub at all. A couple little tiny dots or just a little smear right around the edge is more than enough, and it just took seconds to dry. And look, now I'm all flat, which I like, right? But I love the shaker look. I think it just adds some texture and interest to the page. Don't you? It's just fun. Since they already did the cutout for us, why not? Okay, so now we have our flower piece with remember the thick foam tape on it, and that goes somewhere here down the bottom. We're just gonna lay out our pieces. We've got thin foam tape on I think these go somewhere over here. We've got our little journaling circle, goes underneath, and then we've got this other big flower with the gold. And if I'm looking at the photo, it kind of goes up between the top two. And then we've got this last one to tuck in. Let me see if I pull it down. Tuck in at the top. Okay, we've got some gems to put on. Let's do let's ink our photograph. That'll be next. Actually, you know what? Before I get any further, I'm going to forget. Seriously, I'm going to forget. Let's go ahead and put adhesive on this and stick this on our base. And I'm going to be a little bit generous with this, just because it's a little bit thicker, you know. Okay, so now we've got our cardstock, and all this is an even border, right? Even border around the edges. I think we're pretty close. Forgive me, I know it's going to shake the camera. I'm just going to flip it over so I can really get my hands and press down on that adhesive. A lot of the adhesives are very pressure sensitive. If you've ever wondered why something doesn't stick, it's probably because you didn't rub on it quite enough. A lot of them are pressure sensitive, so if you don't rub and really make a firm connection, they'll end up not sticking as well. So, okay, so we've got, let me move this aside and let me show you why I love this. Okay, and in truth, it just comes out of the shape. Let me see if I can find a dauber. The shape of a dauber, if you look at it sideways, is curved. It's curved at the top. So as much as you try to not get the ink in those crevices, you're gonna, right? You're just gonna. It's a little bit flat on the top, but it's not as flat as you want it to be, especially just for doing this technique. So I want to show you how it makes the difference. We're going to use toffee ink. Don't you love that these are magnetic? Every time they start to stick together, I get excited because I'm like, it just was the best invention close to my heart has ever had. Okay, so I re-inked this not too long ago. So it's a somewhat fresh pad. If you don't, if your pad's really light, that may be, again, an item that you want to have at some point. Toffee's one of those colors that can use a refreshing, again, and it's a neutral, so we use it a lot for distressing. We use it for neutral backgrounds. We use it quite a bit. So what I'm going to do first is go across all the edges, okay? We're going to ink up the edges just to give it, you'll notice, just a little bit of depth. I am all about inking paper. I don't know if you know that about me, but in my classes, my people that take classes with me, they know because I make them do it all the time. It just, for me, it finishes that edge. It just finishes it. It makes it, you can see a little more depth in it, but more than anything else, it finishes your piece of art. So what we're going to do is take our little brand new sponge tool with the flat side, and you can press on it. You can do whatever you want. You can rub it, you can press. I'm kind of finding that it inks a little bit better with a little bit of pressure. And then we're going to start at the edge, and here's the trick. You want to go light. You don't want to sponge this. We're going to slide it across the paper, and we're just going to hit those where the designs are. We just want it really, it's hard because I'm used to stamping and going tap, tap. You really want to press a little bit to get that ink. But look at how stunning this looks. Here, let me bring it up to camera so you can see it. Look at how easily it only hits the top, right? I just love that. I think it's just much easier, and I'm for anything that makes our craft more user-friendly, right? Anything that makes, like that waterfall die. Like, yes, we used to teach that. I used to teach it all the time because it was a little bit more, I don't want to say complicated. It wasn't complicated, but it's a spatial reasoning type card. Most people won't look at it and go, I can do that. And actually, of course you can, but I'll tell you what, the die makes it super user-friendly, right? And that's what I mean about this flat sponge. Is it absolutely necessary? Well, of course not. Of course it's not. But is it fun and makes your life a whole lot easier? Absolutely, right? It's kind of like a dishwasher. Look at how pretty that is, the depth you get. Now, this is why I wanted to do, part of the reason why I wanted to do ink versus, now, mind you, I'm not going to do the center because we're going to cover it with, right? But again, we're sliding this over the top. We are not daubing like you used to do with a dauber. We're sliding, and we're just hitting. I'm making sure that it's inked because the ink, the more ink you have on there, of course, the darker it's going to be, and you get a little bit of a variation, right? I love this. I want to keep doing it because it's just therapeutic. It makes me happy. Okay, I think actually we've done enough, but look at that. Look at the color variation. I love this. Seriously. It makes me want to just do a card out of this because it's so, so pretty. All right, let me put this back. Don't you love that they're stored upside down? I think that's one of the coolest features. All right, let me make sure that my hands are not inky because I'm gonna touch that white, right? That photo mat, and I've done it a million times and then had to replace the photo mat because I got ink on the white paper. And you know, I could let it go, but that's not me. That's not me, sadly. Sometimes I wish I could let it go. Okay, now put my sponge away. I'm going to use my label maker. Dee Dee, you're going to be proud of me. I'm going to use my label maker again. I'm going to put toffee on that so that I know that's what I'm using it for. Okay, now this has some texture, and that's why I'm giving this so much attention with the adhesive. Oh, for the love of Pete. No joke. Look what I just did. Seriously? Well, obviously I didn't wipe up my area. All right, hang on. I've got another one over here. Okay, so don't do what I did. Do not do what I did. Good grief. It's like when you have your children and you go, do as I say, not as I do, right? Let's not have a repeat of this activity. Okay. Let's get a dry piece out though, because I'm going to put paper back on it. Took all that time to wipe my, no joke, took all that time to wipe my hand and left it all over the table. Oh my goodness. All right, let's try it again, people. Now, are we dry? Are we clean? Oh my gosh. Only when you video. No, I can't say that because I do that without the video too. Okay, ample adhesive, right smack in the middle. Try not to get ink on your hands so you don't make your white photo mat tan like I did. And honestly, I'm going to turn it over again and just really rub on that. Make sure that it really firmly connects. And then we're going to tie it with some ribbon. Again, we need some place to tie this little ribbon on just so that it is carries some continuity with the other layout. So do I have to have ribbon on it? No, I don't. I don't have to have ribbon on it, but it's a good tie-in. Tina actually taught me that. Whenever I ask her questions about things, she'll, things like that, like embellishments and how do I get the feel of your layouts? And she'll say things like, well, you want to, how does she say it? She doesn't use coordinate. But anyway, the whole idea is that you want, just like your embellishments in triangles, you want some color continuity. You want to carry that color from the left page to the right page. And she said color happens in triangles as well. So CT, I'm learning just along with everybody else. And I try to remember that when I'm putting things together myself. We all want to take what we learned, right? Okay, now I should go find my regular scissors because these, as much as I love the Teflon coating on these scissors, which makes them the bomb diggity, they do not cut ribbon worth squat. So it did fine on that one just because it's little tiny ribbon. But if you ever have big ribbon, go find your not non-stick pair and they'll work a whole lot better. That Teflon, of course, makes them sticky. Not sticky, forgive me. Slippery, right? And it slips right on the ribbon. So, okay, now we have our, you know what? I'm going to use thin foam tape on this. It'll just make it easier. And I'm even going to rip it because that's even easier. Okay. And I'm actually going to put this below this because that will let me move that ribbon up and down if I need to. All right. Let's do this. Let me get, again, I'm afraid I'm going to get ink all over this. I think they've got it measured up to the top of this circle. So if I do that, if I match theirs, then this can kind of go down here at the bottom. Yeah, I think that actually is going to work nicely. All right, we're doing it. We're sticking it down. Up at the top. Oh, shoot. Up at the top. Good. I think that's straight. I just need it to be straight. Right. Okay. Now I've got my big flowers, my together flowers. This has the thick foam tape on it. Okay. Let's see. I think, ooh, I kind of like that a lot, actually. And then I had this ready to go on this side. Maybe what I want to do is slide this ribbon to, oh, look how easily that went. It's like I planned that or something. I kind of had this ready to go here, and now it kind of matches with that little ribbon over there. Oh, I like that a lot. Okay, so this goes kind of up here. And then I've got this, the curved blue flower. Well, it's not flowers, but leaves. And they're going to be tucked in. Oh, I'm going to cut that off. Don't be afraid to cut them and make them how you want, or just what makes them easier to work with. Okay, look at that. It's turning out so pretty. Okay, we've got our single flower with the gold. And the gold points that way on theirs, which makes it really easy to orient, and that goes up between your top two left circles. And then we've got this one that gets tucked in. I think we're actually going to have to cut that one too. Cut the end off. It just makes them easier to place sometimes. So I'm not afraid of cutting. I'm not. Okay, gems. Gems are next. And gems I struggle with a little bit more. But I know, again, you want to do them in triangles. Bloop, bloop, bloop. And then we're going to have some little ones. I'm really glad they gave us a whole pack. because we're going to use a good portion of them. Dun, da, da, da. And again, if you see some other place on here that you want one, by all means, have at it. There's no rhyme or reason. And I like the blue with the gold, right? I love that mix. Okay. We are looking pretty good. One more thing, you know we're not quite done. I'm going to get these out of the way because I know what I'm doing next. Dun, da, da, da. Okay, remember how we talked about it in the first video about how we're going to, we open the cap away from us, never over our project. Okay, so we pull the cap off, shake it up, again, away from us. And then you can start, and this one isn't going to need as much as the other one because I don't need it all over the clear. It's right, it's fine. And remember that it's going to go this direction. So orient your page. Now, if it's not coming out well, squirt a little on your all-purpose mat and then pick it back up. I know, isn't that weird? But that's the truth. Pick it back up. And I can see, I know you can't quite see yet, but I'll pick it up closer to camera in just a second, promise, so that you can see. I think I just want, I know it sounds, Dana, you like all the sparkle, but I love the way this looks when it's done. So I'm not at all afraid of these little sparkles. They make me happy. And Lord knows we need some happy. Okay, done. Now we're going to do the same with the gold. We're going to shake it up. We're going to pull the cap off away from our project. We're going to try it first and see if it needs a little help. This is actually coming out fairly well, so maybe I don't need to make a puddle. But just know that that is a choice. And again, remember how I told you, don't be afraid to dot. Lest you can't see me, I'm just dotting the paper with the tip of my brush. You don't have to wait for the perfect dot. You can make your perfect dot, and the longer you hold it there, the bigger your dot becomes, right? So if I want some of those dots in between here, have at it. There is no right or wrong. These will dry overnight, and they're just spectacular. Oh, I'm loving that I got to use both colors. Right? Is that crazy? I'm loving that I got to use both of them. Okay, we're going to wipe up our, in case I want to do what I did last time. Wipe up our glitter shimmer brushes. Isn't that the most fun? It makes me want all the colors. Well, I think I have almost all the colors. But okay, let's look. Ready? Super, super cute, right? Let's get it. Oh, I'm trying so hard to get it to camera for you so you can see that beautiful sparkle. I hope you can see it. I'm trying really hard. I don't think my light is quite bright enough on it, but look at that. There. Now I'm catching just a glimpse of it. There. Now I hope you can see it. It's just so, so pretty. Okay, so this is our shaker left page, and here is our regular right page. Okay, guys, I'll turn you loose. See you on layout 2. Bye.